Zara Valtani pressed her blue-skinned hand against the sensor console. Her large golden eyes focused on the display screens that surrounded her workstation. The bridge of the Starlight Explorer was quiet except for the soft hum of the ships, engines, and the occasional beep from the navigation systems. "Sector 779 clear," she reported to Captain Jan Kalar, who sat in the command chair reviewing their mission reports. No unusual readings. Moving to Sector 780. Zara had been working as a sensor operator for 3 years now, ever since graduating from the Zelani Academy of Sciences. Her people were known throughout the galaxy for their exceptional sensor technology in their peaceful exploration missions. The Zelani had never fought a war, never conquered another species, never even raised their voices in anger. They explored, they studied, and they shared their knowledge with anyone who asked. At 24 years old, Zara was considered young for deep space exploration, but her skills with sensor equipment were already legendary among her people. She could detect objects at twice the normal range and identify energy signatures that other operators missed. Completely. "Captain," called out Navigator Kel Voss from his station, "we're approaching the edge of charted space. Should we continue the survey?" Captain Collar nodded. "That's why we're here. The Galactic Council wants to know what's beyond the frontier. Continue on course." Zara smiled as she adjusted her sensors for maximum range. This was the part of the job she loved most, scanning empty space and discovering things that no one had ever seen before. New star systems, unusual asteroid fields, sometimes even signs of ancient civilizations that had vanished long ago. Her screens filled with data as the sensors swept across the unknown system ahead of them. 3 planets, all rocky and lifeless. 2 asteroid belts with normal mineral compositions. A single yellow star, stable and unremarkable. Then something appeared on her screen that made her heart skip a beat. "Captain," she said, her voice tight with excitement, "I'm reading something impossible." "Define impossible," Kala replied, looking up from his reports. Zara's fingers flew across her controls, double-checking the readings, triple-checking them. The numbers didn't change. "Sir, I'm detecting a massive energy signature in the outer system. The power output is... it's enormous. Far beyond anything we've ever recorded." "Asteroid mining operation?" suggested Chief Engineer Brix Nallo from the engineering station. "No, sir. The energy pattern is too organized, too controlled. It's definitely artificial, but..." Zara paused, afraid to say what she was thinking. "But what?" Keller asked, standing up and walking over to her station. "Sir, the energy signature matches theoretical models from the ancient archives, the ones about the Terrans." The bridge fell silent. Every member of the crew turned to look at Zara, their expressions ranging from confusion to disbelief. "The Terrans." "Our myths," said Dr. Nexwarden, the ship's archaeologist. "Stories told to children. They never actually existed." Zara shook her head. "I've studied those archives, Doctor. The energy patterns, the technological signatures, they're all here. Whatever's out there, it matches the legends perfectly." Captain Collar looked at the sensor display, his expression troubled. "The Terrans, or humans, as some stories called them, were the subject of countless legends throughout the galaxy. They were supposed to be an ancient species, incredibly advanced, who had helped younger civilizations develop and defended them from threats before, mysteriously vanishing thousands of years ago. Every species had their own version of the stories. The Zilani called them the First Guardians. The Vekmar knew them as the Star Warriors. The Vorthan legends spoke of the Protectors. But they were all just stories, weren't they? "Show me," Kalar said quietly. Zara transferred her sensor data to the main screen. The entire bridge crew stared at the display, which showed a massive object drifting in the darkness near the system's edge. It was clearly artificial, with clean lines and purposeful design. But more importantly, It was huge, easily 10 times the size of their exploration ship. Energy output is fluctuating, Zara reported, her voice barely above a whisper. Whatever it is, it's damaged. Power levels are inconsistent, and I'm detecting what looks like hull breaches. Could be a derelict from some unknown species, suggested Communications Officer Kira Stain. Maybe survivors from a battle. Or maybe, said Dr. Worden, his academic curiosity overcoming his skepticism, we're looking at the greatest archaeological discovery in galactic history. Zara fine-tuned her sensors, trying to get more detailed readings. What she found made her gasp. Captain, I'm detecting life signs aboard the vessel. Faint, but definitely there. Multiple beings, probably in some kind of low-power mode or hibernation. Kaller returned to his command chair, his mind racing. If this was really a human ship, it would change everything. The legends spoke of humans as the most advanced species the galaxy had ever known, with technology that seemed like magic to other races. But they also spoke of humans as protectors, beings who used their power to help others rather than conquer them. Sir, Zara said, there's something else. The ship's trajectory. It's not random. It's following a course that would take it toward the inhabited systems in this sector, almost like it was heading somewhere specific before it was damaged. Recommendations? Kaller asked his senior staff. We should maintain distance and observe, said his first officer, Commander Jax Pellin. If this is some kind of unknown threat, we don't want to provoke it. We should make contact, countered Dr. Worden. If these are really humans, they might need help. And the scientific value of this discovery. We should do our job, Zara said quietly. We're explorers. We're supposed to investigate the unknown and help anyone who needs it. That's what the Zalani do. Captain Kaller looked at his young sensor operator. Zara had never been wrong about her reading, and her dedication to their mission was absolute. More importantly, she was right about their duty as explorers. All right, he said finally. We investigate, but carefully. Zara, keep scanning. I want to know everything about that ship before we get close. Dr. Worden, start researching everything we have on human technology. Commander Pellin, prep the ship for possible first contact procedures. And if it's really them? Asked Kira. If the legends are true? Kaller looked at the massive shape on the main screen, drifting alone in the darkness. Then we're about to meet the most important beings in galactic history. Zara turned back to her sensors, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. She had grown up hearing stories about the humans, the legendary protectors who helped those who couldn't help themselves. Her grandmother had told her tales of the Star Warriors, who appeared when things seemed hopeless and turned the tide of battles against impossible odds. But those were just stories, weren't they? As the Starlight Explorer changed course toward the mysterious vessel, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. The readings on her screen showed power fluctuations that suggested the ship was in serious trouble. If there really were humans aboard, they might be dying. And if they were, then the galaxy's greatest legends needed help. The question was, would the Zalani be brave enough to provide it? The Starlight Explorer moved slowly through space toward the mysterious vessel. Captain Jan Kaller had ordered reduced speed, giving his crew time to study the massive ship that grew larger on their screens with each passing hour. Zara Veltani hadn't left her sensor station in 6 hours. She had mapped every detail of the strange vessel, from its damaged hull sections to its flickering energy signatures. The more she studied it, the more convinced she became that they were looking at something extraordinary. Captain, said Dr. Nex Worden, looking up from his research terminal, I've gone through every archive we have on human technology. The energy patterns match perfectly. The ship design, the power distribution, even the materials used in construction. It's all consistent with the ancient records. But those records are thousands of years old, protested Commander Jax Pellin. And most of them are probably myths anyway. That's what I thought too, Worden replied. But look at this. He transferred his data to the main screen, showing comparative images. This symbol here on the ship's hull, it matches glyphs found in ruins on 12 different worlds. Ruins that are always associated with stories of human intervention. Zara studied the symbol, a simple circle with lines radiating outward like a star. She had seen it before in her grandmother's old books. The mark of the protectors. Sir, she said quietly, I'm detecting more life signs. The beings aboard that ship are definitely alive, but their bioreadings are weak. Whatever happened to them? They're in bad shape. Captain Kaller stood up and walked to the communications station. Kira, any luck with establishing contact? Communications Officer Kira Stain shook her head. I've tried every frequency we know, including the theoretical ones from the archives. No response so far. Keep trying, Kaller ordered. Use the old protocols, the ones from the legends. If these really are humans, they might recognize ancient communication patterns. Zara watched her captain pace the bridge, clearly torn between curiosity and caution. The Zelani were peaceful explorers, not warriors. If this vessel contained hostile aliens, the Starlight Explorer would be helpless against such advanced technology. Captain, she said, what if we're wrong? What if this isn't a human ship at all? Kaller stopped pacing and looked at her. What are you thinking? The legends always said that humans helped younger species. They protected colonies, stopped wars, saved civilizations. But what if there's another species out there that's been pretending to be humans? What if someone's been using the legends to trick people? It was a disturbing thought. The galaxy was full of species that would love to have the reputation of the legendary humans. Pirates, conquerors, slavers, any of them would benefit from being seen as heroic protectors. There's one way to find out, said Dr. Worden. We establish contact and see how they respond. Real humans, according to the legends, would never harm explorers or scientists. They would offer help, not threaten us. And if they're not real? Humans? Asked Commander Pellin. Then we find out what they really are, Kaller replied. Kira, any progress on communications? Kira's console suddenly came alive with lights and sounds. Sir, I'm getting a response. Very weak, but definitely a response. The bridge fell silent as Kira worked to boost the signal. Static filled the air, and a voice, definitely not Zilani, not like any species they knew. This is Commander Jake. Adams of the U-East Defender. Who is this? Please identify yourself. Zara felt her heart skip a beat. The voice was strong, confident, but also tired. And the ship's name, U-East Defender. United Earthship, if the legends were right. Captain Kaller stepped forward. This is Captain Jan Kalar of the Zelani exploration vessel Starlight Explorer. We detected your ship on our sensors and wanted to offer assistance. Pause. Then, Zelani? I'm not familiar with your species. Are you from this sector? We're from the Zelani Republic, about 40 light years from here. We're on a peaceful exploration mission. Your ship appears to be damaged. Do you require assistance? Another pause, longer this time. When the voice returned, it sounded surprised. You're offering to help us? Without knowing who we are, or what we're capable of. Zara exchanged glances with Dr. Worden. That was an odd response. Most species would simply accept help if they needed it. That's what we do, Kaller replied. We explore, we study, and we help anyone who needs it. It's the Zelani way. The Zelani way, the voice repeated slowly. I like that. Yes, we do need help. Our faster-than-light drive is offline, and our life support systems are failing. We have 30 crew members aboard, and we're running out of time. What happened to your ship? Kaller asked. We were protecting a colony from raiders. The colonists got away, but we took heavy damage in the fight. We've been drifting for 3 weeks now, trying to repair our systems. Zara felt a chill run down her spine. Protecting a colony from raiders. That was exactly the kind of thing the legends said humans did. They didn't fight for conquest or profit. They fought to protect others. Commander Adams, Kaller said carefully, may I ask what species you are? A long pause. We're human. From Earth. I'm guessing you've never heard of us. Double quotes. Dr. Worden nearly fell out of his chair. Kira dropped her stylus. Commander Pellin stared at the communications console with his mouth open. Actually, Kaller said, his voice barely steady, we have heard of you. The question is, are you really who you claim to be? I'm sorry, I don't understand. Humans are legends in this part of the galaxy. Stories told to children about ancient protectors who helped. Younger species and then vanished. Most people think you're myths. The silence stretched so long that Zara wondered if they had lost the signal. Then Commander Adams spoke again, and his voice was filled with something that sounded like sadness. We never vanished. We just stayed. Out of sight. We learned long ago that most species prefer to solve their own problems without interference. We only help when there's no other choice. But why? Asked Dr. Worden, unable to contain his curiosity. Why hide? Why not take your place as leaders in the galaxy? Because leadership isn't about power, Adams replied. It's about responsibility. And sometimes the most responsible thing you can do is step back and let others find their own way. Zara stared at the communications console, her mind racing. These were really humans. The legendary protectors were real, and they were talking to her right now. Commander Adams, she said, speaking for the first time during the conversation. This is Sensor Operator Zara Veltani. I'm the one who detected your ship. Are you really the same humans from the old stories? The ones who helped build the Vikmar Defense Network? The ones who stopped the Vorthan Civil War? Another pause. You know about those? That was a long time ago. Different crews, different ships. But yes, we're the same people. But the archives say those events happened over 1,000 years ago. Time moves differently when you're traveling between the stars, Adams said gently. We age slowly, and we've been out here for a very long time. Some of us remember the old days, when first contact was more common. Captain Kaller stepped forward again. Commander, we'd like to offer direct assistance. We have engineering teams, medical supplies, and repair equipment. Would you allow us to come aboard your ship? That's very generous of you, Captain. But I have to warn you, we're not exactly what your legends probably say we are. We're just people trying to do the right thing. We make mistakes, we get tired. We're not the perfect heroes your stories might describe. Zara found herself smiling. Commander, with respect, that makes you more impressive, not less. Perfect heroes don't exist. People who choose to help others even when they're tired and scared and making mistakes. Those are the real heroes. Who? Is that speaking? Adams asked. Sensor Operator Zara Veltani, Kaller replied. She's young, but she's the best sensor operator in the Zalani fleet. And she's right. Well, Sensor Operator Zara Veltani, I think I'd like to meet you in person. If your captain approves, we'd be honored to have you aboard the Defender. Zara's heart raced. She was going to meet actual humans. The legendary protectors were real, and they wanted to meet her. I'll lead the first contact team myself, she said, looking at Captain Kaller. With your permission, sir. Kaller nodded. Take Dr. Worden and Chief Engineer Nallo. And Zara, be careful. Legends or not, we're still dealing with an unknown species. An advanced technology we don't understand. Yes, sir. As the crew began preparations for the first contact mission, Zara couldn't help but think about her grandmother's stories. The old Zilani had always insisted that the humans were real, that they were still out there somewhere, still protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. "Grandmother," she whispered to herself, "you were right all along." The Starlight Explorer moved closer to the massive human vessel, and Zara prepared to meet the greatest legends in galactic history. She just hoped she was ready for whatever she might find aboard that ship. Because if the humans really were everything the stories said they were, then the galaxy was about to change forever. Zara Veltani floated through the docking tube, connecting the Starlight Explorer to the UEC Defender, her heart pounding with excitement and nervousness. Behind her, Dr. Nexwarden and Chief Engineer Brix Nallo followed, their own expressions. Mixing curiosity with amazement, the human ship was enormous up close. The docking tube alone was 3 times the size of anything on the Zilani vessel, and the airlock they approached looked like it could accommodate a small shuttle. Everything was built on a scale that suggested the humans were either very large or simply liked having lots of room. "Are you ready for this?" Dr. Worden asked quietly. Zara nodded, though she wasn't sure she was ready for anything. How do you prepare to meet legends? How do you talk to beings who had become the subject of countless stories and myths? The airlock opened with a soft hiss, and they were greeted by a human. Commander Jake Adams was not what Zara had expected. The legends described humans as giants, towering warriors with incredible strength and mysterious powers. Adams was tall compared to the Zilani, but not impossibly so, maybe 2 meters in height, with brown hair and kind eyes. He wore a simple uniform that looked practical rather than intimidating. "Welcome aboard the Defender," he said, his voice the same one they had heard over the communication system. "I'm Jake Adams." "I'm Zara Veltani," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "These are Dr. Nexwarden and Chief Engineer Brix Nallo." Adams smiled, a warm expression that immediately put Zara at ease. "Please, come in. I'd like you to meet my crew." They followed Adams through corridors that were surprisingly similar to those on Zilani ships. Clean, functional, well lit. The main difference was the scale. Everything was larger, designed for beings who needed more space. "Your ship is beautiful," Zara said as they walked. "The design is so elegant. Thank you. She's been our home for 15 years now." The Defender was built for long-range missions, helping colonies and settlements that are too far from the main shipping lanes to get regular assistance. They entered what was clearly the ship's main engineering section. Several humans looked up from their work, and Zara was struck by how diverse they were. Different skin colors, different facial features, different heights and builds. The legends had never mentioned that. "Everyone, I'd like you to meet our rescuers," Adams said. "This is Zara, Dr. Worden, and Chief Engineer Nallo from the Zilani Republic." A woman with short black hair and grease-stained coveralls approached them. "Lisa Park, Chief Engineer. Thank you for coming to help us. We've been trying to fix our drive system for weeks now. What happened to it?" asked Nallo, immediately interested in the technical details. "Took a direct hit from a Raider's plasma cannon," replied a man with darker skin and medical insignia on his uniform. "I'm Dr. Ben Clark, by the way. The explosion damaged the main power couplings and fried half our control systems." "Raiders?" Dr. Worden asked. "What kind of raiders?" "Kethver," Adams replied, and Zara saw his expression darken. "They've been attacking settlements in the Outer Rim, enslaving the populations and stealing resources. We got a distress call from a colony called New Hope 3 weeks ago." "New Hope?" Zara's eyes widened. "We know that colony. They're Thekmar settlers, part of their expansion program." "Are they safe?" "They are now," said a woman with red hair and a weapons specialist uniform. "Amy Johnson, tactical officer." We held off the raiders long enough for the colonists to evacuate to their backup settlement, but we paid a price for it. Zara looked around at the human crew, seeing the exhaustion. In their faces, the signs of strain from weeks of emergency repairs and failing life support. These weren't the perfect, invincible warriors of legend. They were people, tired, worried people who had risked their lives to save strangers. "Commander Adams," she said, "may I ask you something personal?" "Of course." "Why do you do this?" "Why? Risk your lives for people you've never met?" Adams was quiet for a moment, considering the question. "Because we can," he said finally. "We have the technology, the training, the ability to help. When someone's in trouble, and we can do something about it, how can we not?" "But there are thousands of colonies out there," Dr. Worden pointed out. "Millions of people who need help. You can't save everyone." "No," Adams agreed. "We can't, but we can save some. And maybe if enough people see that help is possible, they'll start helping each other too." Chief Engineer Park gestured to the damaged systems around them. "Right now, though, we need help ourselves. Nalo, would you mind taking a look at our power distribution network? We've jury-rigged it, but it's not stable." Nalo nodded eagerly. "I'd be honored to help. Zelani power systems are different from yours, but the principles should be similar." As the engineers began working together, Dr. Worden pulled out his recording device. "Commander, would you mind if I documented this encounter, the scientific and historical value?" "Go ahead," Adams said. "Though I should warn you, we're not as mysterious as your legends probably make us seem. We're just people doing a job." "That's what makes it so remarkable," Zara said softly. "The legends describe you as perfect heroes, but you're better than that. You're real people who choose to be heroic." Adams looked at her with an expression of surprise. "You know, in all our years of avoiding contact with other species, no one's ever put it quite like that." "Why do you avoid contact?" she asked. "Why stay hidden?" "Because," said Dr. Clark, looking up from a medical console he was repairing, "history shows that when a more advanced species makes contact with a less advanced one, the results are usually bad for the less advanced species. We don't want to be conquerors or gods. We just want to help when we can." "But you could do so much more," Dr. Worden protested. "Your technology could solve problems, prevent wars, improve life for millions of people. Could it?" Adams asked. "Or would it just create different problems? What happens when we're not there to solve things? What happens when people start depending on us instead of learning to handle things themselves?" Zara thought about that. The Zelani had always been independent, solving their own problems and helping others without creating dependencies. But many other species in the galaxy were constantly looking for stronger allies to protect them, or more advanced technology to solve their problems. "You're trying to help people become stronger," she said, understanding dawning on her. "Not just solve their immediate problems." "Exactly," Adams said. "Sometimes the best way to help someone is to step back and let them find their own solutions." "But you still respond to distress calls," Dr. Worden pointed out. "When there's no other choice," Amy Johnson replied. "When it's life or death, when? The consequences of not acting are worse than the consequences of acting." Chief Engineer Park called out from across the room. "Nalo, your people's power coupling design is brilliant. If we adapt it to our systems, we could boost efficiency by 30%. "And your backup systems are amazing," Nalo replied. "We could learn a lot from your redundancy protocols." Zara watched the two engineers working together, sharing knowledge and solving problems. This was what the legends had really been about. Not perfect heroes descending from the stars, but people helping people, species learning from each other. "Commander Adams," she said, "I think it's time." "Time for what?" "Time to stop hiding. The galaxy needs to know that humans are real, that you're still here, still helping. Not as gods or conquerors, but as partners. Adams looked around at his crew, seeing the same thought reflected in their faces. They were tired of hiding, tired of working in secret, tired of being legends instead of people. "What are you suggesting?" he asked. "Come back with us. Meet our government, our scientists, our explorers. Show them that humans are real and that cooperation is possible. Help us build something better than what we have now." "And if other species aren't ready for that?" Dr. Clark asked. "Then we help them get ready," Zara replied. "Together." Adams smiled, and for the first time since they had met him, he looked truly hopeful. "You know what? I think it's time the galaxy met the real humans. Not the legends, but the people behind them." As the two crews continued working together to repair the Defender, Zara realized that this was just the beginning. The galaxy was about to change, and she was going to be part of making it happen. The legends were real, but the reality was going to be even better than the stories. The celebration aboard the Starlight Explorer was cut short when Zara's sensor console erupted in warning lights and alarm sounds. She rushed to her station, her golden eyes scanning the displays with growing alarm. "Captain!" she called out. Multiple contacts incoming, large fleet moving fast. Captain Jan Collar was on the bridge in seconds, with Commander Jake Adams right behind him. The human had been giving a presentation to the senior staff about potential cooperation between their species when the alarm started. "What are we looking at?" Collar asked. 15 ships, Zara reported, her fingers flying over the controls. Heavy cruisers and battleships. They're using some kind of cloaking technology. I can only detect them because they're moving so fast. "Kethver," Adams said grimly. "They must have been tracking us." "The raiders from New Hope?" Dr. Worden asked. "No, this is different. Bigger. The Kethver don't like it when their raiding parties get destroyed. They take it personally." On the main screen, the hostile fleet began to decloak. Zara had never seen ships like these before, black, angular. Vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved with predatory grace, spreading out to surround both the Starlight Explorer and the UE's Defender. "Incoming transmission," reported Communications Officer Kira Stain. The main screen flickered, showing the bridge of the lead Kethver vessel. The alien who appeared was tall and thin, with pale skin and red eyes. When he spoke, his voice was like ice. "I am War Commander Vic Volume of the Kethver Dominion. We have come for the humans who destroyed our raiding fleet. Surrender them to us, and we will allow you to leave unharmed." Captain Kaller stepped forward. "I am Captain Jan Kaller of the Zelani Republic. These humans are under our protection. As rescued survivors, we will not surrender them." The Kethver's laugh was like breaking glass. "Zelani, you are explorers, not warriors. Your ship has no weapons, no armor, no defenses. You cannot protect anyone." "You're wrong," Zara said, surprising herself by speaking up. "We may not have weapons, but we have something better. We have friends." Adams looked at her with admiration. "Zara's right. Captain, you don't have to fight our battles for us. This is our problem." "No," Kaller said firmly. "This is everyone's problem. The Kethver attack innocent colonies, enslave populations, and terrorize anyone who can't fight back. If we don't stop them here, they'll just keep doing it." War Commander Thekval's red eyes narrowed. "You choose to stand with the humans? Then you choose to die with them. All ships, attack formation. Destroy both vessels." The transmission ended, and the Kethver fleet began to move. Zara watched her sensors as the enemy ships positioned themselves for attack. 15 heavily armed warships against 1 damaged human vessel and 1 unarmed exploration ship. "All hands to battle stations. Collar announced over the ship's intercom. "Prepare for combat." "Captain," Commander Pellin said quietly, "we don't have battle stations." "We're a science vessel. Then we improvise," Kala replied. "Nalo, can you boost our shield generators?" "Already working on it, sir, but they're not designed for combat. We'll have maybe 2 minutes before they overload." Adams activated his own communicator. "Defender, this is Adams. Status report." "Drive is still offline," came Lisa Park's voice. "But weapons are operational. We can fight, but we can't run." "We're not running anyway," Adams said. "Zelani vessel, can you coordinate our targeting systems with your sensors?" Zara looked at Captain Collar, who nodded. "I can link our sensor network to your weapon systems. Your targeting will be much more accurate." "Do it," as Zara worked too. Establish the connection. She watched the Kethfer ships close in. The enemy vessels were larger than the Defender, and there were 15 of them. Even with perfect targeting, the odds were impossible. "Connection established," she reported. "Your weapons are now linked to our sensors." "Excellent. Amy, are you ready?" "Weapons charged and ready, Commander," came Amy Johnson's voice from the Defender. The first Kethfer ship opened fire, sending beams of purple energy toward the 2 vessels. The Starlight Explorer's shields flared as they absorbed the impact, but Zara could see the power readings dropping rapidly. "Shields down to 60%, reported Nalo. A used Defender returned fire, and Zara watched in amazement as the human ship's weapons found their targets with impossible accuracy. The linked sensor system allowed the Defender to hit weak points in the Kethfer ship's armor that would have been impossible to detect otherwise. "Direct hit on the lead cruiser," she reported. "Their shields are down, and they're venting atmosphere." But the Kethfer weren't helpless. More ships opened fire, and the combined assault was overwhelming. The Starlight Explorer's shields failed completely, and the ship shuddered as energy beams struck the hull. "Hull breach on Deck 3, reported Damage Control. "Emergency force fields are holding, but we're losing atmosphere." "Can we evacuate to the Defender?" asked Dr. Worden. "No time," Adams replied. "And they're in as much trouble as we are." Zara looked at her sensor display, watching the battle unfold. The Defender was fighting magnificently, but it was 1 ship against 15. Even with the Zelani sensor assistance, they were being overwhelmed. Then something appeared on her screens that made her heart leap. "Captain," she called out. "New contacts." Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. The reinforcements were unlike anything Zara had ever seen. Sleek vessels with elegant curves, heavily armed ships with distinctive markings, and massive battleships that dwarfed even the Kef. 6 months later, Zara Veltani stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Cooperation Station, watching ships from dozens of species arrive for the first official meeting of the Galactic Alliance. The station itself was a marvel of cooperative engineering, Vecmar construction, Vorthin power systems, Zelani sensors, and human coordination, all working together to create something none of them could have built alone. "Hard to believe it all started with a sensor reading," said a familiar voice behind her. Zara turned to see Commander Jake Adams approaching, wearing the new uniform of the Galactic Alliance. He had been appointed as the first human ambassador, a role he had accepted reluctantly but performed brilliantly. "I still can't believe you are real," Zara replied with a smile. "Growing up, I thought the stories about humans were just fairy tales. We're not exactly what the stories said we were," Adams pointed out. "We're just people trying to do our best." "That's what makes you special," Zara said. "Perfect heroes don't exist. But people who choose to help others, even when it's hard, even when it's dangerous, those are the real heroes." Through the viewport, they could see the UE-SES Defender docked at one of the station's berths. The ship had been fully repaired and upgraded with technology from all the Alliance species. It was now the flagship of the new Galactic Protection Fleet, ready to respond to threats anywhere in known space. "Any word from the Outer Rim?" Zara asked. "3 more colonies have reported Kethver activity," Adams replied. "But this time, they're not alone. The Vekmar have ships in that sector, and the Vorthen are sending a battle group. The days of isolated raids are over." Zara nodded, watching as a massive Vekmar transport docked at the station. Through her enhanced sensors, she could see. The ship was carrying refugees from a Kethvar attack, but also materials and equipment to help them rebuild their lives. "The Kethvar aren't giving up," she said. "No, they're not. But they're learning that the galaxy has changed. They can't just attack whoever they want anymore. There are consequences now. And if they don't learn," Adams's expression grew serious, "then we'll teach them. Together." The communication panel near the viewport activated, showing the face of Captain Jan Collar. "Zara, Ambassador Adams, the council session is about to begin. Your presence is requested." Zara and Adams made their way to the station's main conference room, where representatives from 47 different species had gathered. The room itself was a symbol of the new alliance, designed to accommodate beings of all sizes and environmental needs, with translation systems that could handle hundreds of languages simultaneously. Admiral Kexran of the Zelani called the meeting to order. "Fellow beings, we gather today to discuss the expansion of the Galactic Alliance and the establishment of new protection protocols." Fleet Commander Groktar of the Vekmar stood up, his massive form dominating the room. "The Kethver have attacked 3 more colonies in the past month. We must respond with force. Force alone will not solve this problem," argued Admiral Silvera of the Vorthen. "We must address the root causes of their aggression." "The root cause is simple," said a new voice. "They believe they are superior to all other species." Everyone turned to see who had spoken. It was Dr. Nex Worden, now serving as the Alliance's chief xenobiologist. "I've been studying Kethver society for months. They've built their entire civilization around the idea of conquest. They literally cannot conceive of a galaxy where they are not the dominant species." "Then what do you suggest?" asked Admiral Kexran. "We show them," Commander Adams said, standing up. "We show them that cooperation is stronger than conquest. We show them that working together accomplishes more than fighting alone." "How?" demanded a delegate from the Sectar Republic. "They won't listen to words." "Then we show them with actions," Zara said, surprising herself by speaking up in the formal council session. "We build something so strong, so successful, that they can't ignore it." Adams smiled at her. "What did you have in mind?" "The Kethver attack isolated colonies because they're easy targets," Zara explained. "But what if there were no isolated colonies? What if every settlement, every world, every species was connected to the Alliance?" "A galactic network," Dr. Worden said, understanding immediately. "Communication systems, defense pacts, trade agreements, all linking every member species together." "Exactly," Zara continued. "The Kethver survive by dividing us, by making us fight alone. But if we're all connected, if an attack on one is an attack on all, then they face the entire galaxy." Admiral Silvera finished. "Not just one species, but everyone." Fleet Commander Groktar nodded approvingly. "The Vekmar Republic approves of this plan. We will contribute our construction capabilities. The Vorthen Confederation will provide communication technology." Admiral Silvera added. "The Zelani Republic offers our sensor networks," said Admiral Kexran. One by one, the other species voiced their support. The Galactic Alliance was no longer just a military cooperation. It was becoming a true union of civilizations. As the meeting continued, Zara found herself thinking about how much had changed. 6 months ago, she had been a sensor operator on An exploration ship, scanning empty space for interesting phenomena. Now she was helping to plan the future of the galaxy. Nervous? Adams asked quietly during a break in the proceedings. Terrified, Zara admitted. What if we're wrong? What? If this doesn't work? Then we try something else, Adams replied. That's what humans do. We fail, we learn, we try again. And now we're not doing it alone. The legends never mentioned that humans were so persistent, Zara said with a smile. The legends got a lot of things wrong, Adams said. But they got one thing right. We don't give up. Especially when we're protecting something important. And what are we protecting now? Adams gestured to the conference room, full of different species, all working together toward a common goal. Hope, the idea that different people can work together, that cooperation is possible, that the galaxy can be a better place. As the council session resumed, Zara listened to the representatives discuss plans for the new galactic network. Communication relays, defense stations, trade routes, all designed to connect every member species in an unbreakable web of cooperation. The HFY wouldn't be able to attack isolated targets anymore. They would face the united strength of the entire galaxy. And more importantly, they would see that their way of life, based on conquest and domination, was no longer the only option. Sensor Operator Valtani, Admiral Kexron called out, "You'll be leading the technical team for the new sensor network. Are you prepared for that responsibility?" Zara stood up, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. "Yes, sir, I am." As the meeting continued, she thought about her grandmother's stories. The old Zelani had always said that the humans were still out there, still protecting those who needed protection. She had been right, but she had also been wrong. The humans weren't just protectors anymore. They were teachers, showing other species that cooperation was possible. They were leaders, not because they demanded to be followed, but because they inspired others to be better. And they were friends, working alongside everyone else to build a galaxy where no one had to face their problems alone. The legends had been wrong about many things, but they had been right about the most important thing of all. The humans were heroes, not because they were perfect, but because they never stopped trying to help others. And now, thanks to one impossible sensor reading 6 months ago, the whole galaxy was learning to be heroic too. The age of legends was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And Zara Valtani, sensor operator turned galactic coordinator, was going to help make it work.